How's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Today we are taking a look at the legendary cruiser Alaska. In the background here we have a game of domination on Crash Zone. Kind of a unique matchup. Got 5 battleships, 4 cruisers on the enemy team, so no destroyers, which is going to be nice to look at. And then on the friendly team we have 5 battleships, 3 cruisers, and the lone destroyer in the game. Should be interesting to see. We got spawned here right in the middle, and typically with this ship I think it plays well as a flanking ship. Use the HE to burn some other battleships down, but we don't really have that option in this game, so we're gonna just play a little bit more aggressive, use these islands to defend our broadsides, and just let the AP rain almost the entire game. Right off the start here, we get nice, really nice broadside shots at the Prince Eugen and the Tirpitz. But we want to make sure that we're close enough to this island to prevent those 2 shots, because the enemy team does have 2 Yamatos. I am the only legendary ship on the blue team, so we do have a little bit of disadvantage when it comes to guns. Quick stats on the Alaska. With my build, I have a range of 17.4 kilometers, a 17.1 second reload time. This does have 9 guns, evenly distributed amongst 3 turrets. They're 305 millimeter. The AP has a max damage of a 9612, while the HE has a max damage of 4300 with a 27% fire chance. At 27% fire chance, that's where the burn it down method really comes in handy. But right here, we're just going to continue to use AP, and I'm not really sure if I use HE at all during this game. This position really allowed me to get a lot of great broadside shots and just start punishing these enemy ships. On my build, I like using Victor Einstein as my commander. Not only does he have ingenious and intuitive, so you get to see number of ships aiming at you and the direction of the nearest ship, but you also get punch through. That really allows that AP just to get a little bit more effectiveness. For my inspirations, I have Kuznetsov to get a little extra range, and Scott to really tighten up those shell groups. Early on here, we're able to finish off the Prince Eugen, and things are already starting to look good. Our team is blocking the enemy team from capturing C. I'm completely covered here on my broadside, just making sure to glance over that way every now and then, make sure we're not going to get overflanked. But we do have the destroyer over there helping us spot, so it's not too dangerous of a situation. I was encouraged to make this video after having a couple discussions about legendary tier. There seems to be a lot of hate for the Alaska. People are saying it's the worst legendary, which it may be the least powerful. I would argue actually the GK might be worse. That's more just a reflection on my play style than perhaps raw stats. But I think the Alaska is undervalued, and this game really shows its potential. The Tirpitz continues to push in. As you can see there, though, we do have a friendly battleship that is completely locking it up. Their 2 cruisers on the far west side have started to kite away, kind of being less effective. So I'm going to go ahead and push around this island a little bit just to see what we have over here to our north. So immediately when I come around, we have both Yamatos sitting real close, and I'm liking this shot right here. It's completely broadside. The AP on this can be really solid, but I bounced 3 of them, were completely shattered. Probably just a little too much of an angle, but what's important now is I want to make sure to get up against this next island, and I'm going to get the bow of my ship pointed back to the northeast now. So just kind of flipping around where we're focusing our energy and our firepower. We want to make sure that we're paying attention to respecting these battleships at all time. We did have the Iowa pop up there to our north, so he is the only real threat to us at this point, as long as this island's here. So just gonna go ahead, beach the ship, make sure that we're completely covered, and then reassess where we're at. Unfortunately, the consumables on the Alaska, the radar and hydro, not very useful in this game since there's no destroyers. I mean, we do have an Otago that has long-range torpedoes that we need to be aware of. And we do see him pop up here. The Otago, though, making a kind of a bold move here, going completely broadside. I'm going to once again put it in forward, beach it, and then get all 3 guns turned on him. You can see the Kutuzov is kind of floating back and forth here, trying to decide if it wants to go for a suicide torpedo run. We pop the Otago for 2 more citadels. And this is really an ideal engagement for us here. I'm okay bow tanking shots from these ships. The Iowa does pose a little bit more of a threat to us. But as you can see, we still do have our destroyer down to the south. He's going to be able to put some pressure on those ships. As long as I'm just sitting here manipulating the throttle, moving back and forth, it's going to be a lot harder for them to land really big, high-value salvos. So looking at the overall map now, we have lost a battleship, they have lost a battleship, as well as 2 cruisers. Our team has successfully captured C after sending over half our team that direction. At this point, their team seems content just sitting back and waiting, and I really blame matchmaking for this. Giving us the 1 destroyer, that's just an unfair advantage, especially since they didn't have any radar cruisers. Just unfortunate, and kind of made it a lot more difficult for them to push in. Had they pushed in as a complete team, though, it would have absolutely forced us to respond. But as you can see, they're only pushing in 1 by 1. The Iowa did a great job of going out and getting the flank. But at this point, he's not getting a lot of support from his team. Fortunately, we have a great broadside shot on that Iowa. And we get to see what the AP is really capable of on this ship. We're going to go ahead and continue to aim at the waterline on this ship, simply because, you know, if he's completely broadside, the 305s do have a high enough caliber in order to penetrate that armor. Making sure to keep an eye on the Kutuzov, make sure they're not going to come around and push us. There, Yamato number 1 goes down. We do pop the Iowa 4 Citadel hit, and things are honestly going perfectly. Kutuzov looks like they're going to try to go ahead and push us, so we kick it in reverse, keeping an eye on where the other enemy ships are. We're just going to go ahead and hug this island as much as possible. Kutuzov does have torpedoes we need to be aware of, but at this point, if I can't put damage on them, I at least need to make sure that I can continue to keep these 2 ships spotted, which is why I'm not just completely in reverse the whole time. I'm just going to go back and forth, play around with them, and just kind of tempt them to come around this corner. If they do come around this corner, it will be an absolute heyday for me. I can just shoot these broadside ships all day. And while I do run the risk of catching some damage, especially from the Yamato, he can overmatch my armor with no issues. Hopefully it wouldn't be enough damage to completely dev strike me. Looking at the scoreboard, our team has a commanding lead on points, nearly doubling what the enemy team has. And as long as we continue to hold both caps, we will keep that lead. As you can see, though, the Iowa has decided to keep pushing forward. I'm going to go ahead and keep reversing, because I see that there are no other ships to the west, so I can just continue to use this island. Iowa just in a terrible position at this point. I'm going to go ahead and put another salvo of AP in the side. Only 3 of them hitting, unlucky. But we need to make sure to go ahead and kill him first, get the guns that are on us destroyed first. And this time aiming at the superstructure, as he is a little bit better angled. We don't want to completely waste this. Looking back on this, I probably should have switched to HE at this point with the way he is angled. Fortunately, as you can see, the shells coming over from behind us. Our friendly teammates are putting shells on him as well. Again, right there, if I had HE, that might have been a kill shot, or at least a fire that drained him out. But we get a second chance. Still have AP loaded. He is turning away. Terrible aiming on my part. Only hitting 2 shells, survives, but again, thankfully for teammates, the Alabama puts him away. So now we have the Otago, Iowa to the east, and the Kutuzov and Yamato just on the other side of the island from us here. Saying hello to our friendly Alabama, just getting a nice little love tap. Yamato decides to get a little brave, so I'm going to decide at this point I'm going to go for it. I want to finish these 2 ships off. So aim just a little bit above, get the Citadel hit on the Yamato, and now I have the Kutuzov dead in my sights. I'm making a gamble at this point. Do I want to go ahead and trade ships? I get the dev strike. Unfortunately, I spotted the torpedoes a lot later than I thought I would. I thought I would have seen them earlier. I do go down, but at this point, I'm fairly confident that our team has this game completely locked up. You can see the Iowa pop back up here. Alabama's going to go ahead, finish him off. Just a killer salvo. Get his Kraken. And now the Otago is alone. Overall, this was a great team effort, and I think it's a great example of how the Alaska can be a punishing AP ship and still be in the thick of things. It doesn't have to necessarily be on the flanks and kiting away. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Did you like it, dislike it? What are your thoughts on the Alaska and the Legendary tier in general? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. If this is your first time coming to the channel, please consider hitting subscribe. We'll have a lot more videos coming at you shortly. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.